This is my review of NM2201, which is an indole-based cannabinoid. It is a full agonist of the CB1 and CB2 receptors. Now, I'd like to start off by saying that this is a gray area compound, so not a lot of research has been done on it. It's closely related or based on 5-FPB22, and it's also known as CBL2201. This is a good one. I'd like to say that if you're new to the cannabinoid scene, this is a good one to try because it's so weak. And my experience with it was that there were very few side effects. So if you're new to cannabinoids, this is a very good one to try. Now, as with any cannabinoid, if you experience any type of side effects that are extremely unpleasant, for example, seizures, you should immediately quit doing it. Also, to do combos with this, I highly recommend that you don't until you're familiar and comfortable with it, especially alcohol. 90%, at least 90% of the fatalities involving cannabinoids also involve alcohol. So the combos is what kills people. Now, this is a very weak cannabinoid. So I'm not going to talk about ratios in any of my cannabinoid reviews, and that is up to the person to figure out what those ratios are. I will, however, have a video down the line on how you come up with the ratios. That's kind of a trade secret, what the ratios are for when you make spice. Now, I received a sample of this in the spring of 2015 from my lab, my favorite lab, which I will not source either. Some people I'll source to if they approach me, but most I will not. It's up to you to figure out where to get this. So, without further ado, NM2201. Very pleasant, very few side effects, but also it is very weak. So I didn't make any spice with the sample that I received. I just vaped it. Vaping it, I found it was pretty weak. So if you do make spice with it, you'll find that your ratios are going to be very low. Now, it had a taste that was very similar to rotten vegetables. Didn't taste very good. However, the effects were very pleasant. They lasted, I'd say, about half an hour to an hour, which it seemed to last a little longer. So, if you're breaking into the cannabinoid field, this would be a good one to start with. And of course, be careful and do your allergy testing, etc. And I'd like to champion harm reduction and say that if you don't implement your basic harm reduction techniques whilst testing this, you kind of deserve what you get. So don't get this just for the sake of getting high. It is a gray area compound, which means there's not a lot of data out there on it. My experience with it, I shared it with one other person, and both the other person and I experienced no side effects. The effects were very pleasant, and I'm very, very impressed with this one. It is weak, however, so if you're looking to obtain this particular cannabinoid to make spice with, I'd recommend against it because your yield is going to be very low. but it's definitely good for beginners. Now, it's also interesting to note that also being based on 5FPV22, that's also based on NNE1. Now, there have been some fatalities related to NNE1. So, again, exercise caution. This is, in my opinion, a great cannabinoid for somebody to try. And so if you're new to the cannabinoid thing, this is definitely a good one to start with. That's about all I have on this one. So NM2201, very pleasant, very weak, very few side effects. I experienced no side effects. So if you're new to the cannabinoid field, try this one. Give this one a shot. I haven't tried another one that I would say is in the ballpark from what I read, though I have not tried it, is THJ 018. From what I hear, it's about the same potency and relatively safe. And that's all I have for this particular cannabinoid.